Nothing more shameful than when little kids, my dad can beat up your dad. No, dude. Like realize when you've made a fool of yourself and don't double down. Okay. So this is Jason Thomas from ADL schooling a bunch of little kids with reality.
He's now saying, as you see, it was all about segregation and its meaning. Right, Jason, so it had to do with race.
Poor Elsie's just like in La La Land going, this is the part where I laugh, right? Okay. I know the context is king sign. I hope you get that back. You need a reminder of that, kid.
We know.
Jason, you've lost the plot, my man. You've lost the plot. The whole thing you were arguing initially was that color line doesn't have to do with race. He's now saying
this is what happens when your ministry is dedicated to being has one goal, and it doesn't matter if you're honest or not. So you tell me if Jason lost the plot or not. Let's look at the segregation comment in context. See what really see these guys. Don't be fooled, dude. It's total. I think Miles might actually think he has a point, and the other guys are just kind of like, I don't know, drinking the sauce, I guess. Let's take a look at the reality of these comments, which is what that video is a claimed response to what Jason has said. Jason isn't responding back to them. This is the original presentation that they think their smug attitudes are towards. So Jason isn't going to respond. This is just what he said that they're talking about. And notice what is actually being presented and demonstrated. This is interesting. If you don't get it after this, I just recommend not talking, because you're just making people that are ignorant more ignorant and belligerent, which is kind of what your ministry is all about, answering Adventism. It's not really a ministry. It's a joke. Sorry.
There was a lot of problems during that time, right? We don't need to go over that dark history. But notice what she said in this. Racial separation is not permanent. Wait a second. Deonte. Racial separation is not permanent?
It's not permanent? Wow.
That wasn't supposed to be a permanent situation?
Doesn't sound like
it.
Well,
let's read a little bit more. Racial separation is not permanent. Walls of separation have been built up between the whites and the blacks. These walls of prejudice will tumble down of themselves.
Huh?
She expected that this would change? As did the walls of Jericho. When Christians obey the word of God, which enjoins on them supreme love of their maker and impartial love to their neighbors, let every church whose members claim to believe the truth for this time look at this neglected, downtrodden race that, as a result of slavery, have been deprived of the privilege of thinking and acting for themselves. The next page. We dare not ignore existing racial prejudice. Hold on. So she understood in the future this would not be a case, but for the existing time, she said we dare not ignore exist.
Yeah, you see, because of if they ignore the segregation that's happening after slavery ends, then they know that, guys like Mcken might get violent. So they have to endure the segregation imposed by others and not foment the issue, because, the Presbyterians might come with their forks and their pitchforks and their torches, and it might cause undue violence and circumstances because of people who are actually all been out of shape because their slaves got taken away and they can't deal in chattel slavery anymore and profit from it to fund their churches. So wisdom calls that we have to work within the segregated community based on the racism of, I don't know, people like that dealt with, merchandising human beings. Unfortunately,
thing racial prejudice is? I am burdened, heavenly burdened for the work among the colored people. The gospel is to be presented to the downtrodden Negro race. But great.
I swear, I wouldn't be surprised if these nuts start saying, "Oh, see, Ellen White's racist. She called them colored people. She should have called them people of color." I mean, is this their next argument? I swear, I wouldn't be surprised.
Caution will have to be shown in the efforts to put forth the uplifting of this people. Among the white people in many places, there exists a strong prejudice against the Negro race. We may desire to ignore this prejudice, but we cannot do it. If we were to act as if this prejudice did not exist, we could not get the light before the white people. We must meet the situation as it is and deal with it wisely and intelligently.
That would be Ellen White's advice there would be very good for those who want to critique her. They should take her advice.
La 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 la.